Well, I'm excited about this interview. And Alaina, I want you to introduce yourself because you are such a special story for Wigs for Kids, for alopecia, for soccer. By the way, that's my favorite sport of all time. I'm a Macy fan from Miami. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited about his career. Tell us who you are and what you are doing.
Yeah, so my name is Alaina Abel. I'm currently a senior at the University of Loyola in Chicago. I'm on the soccer team here. I was diagnosed with alopecia in middle school, but only experienced mild hair loss until recently. And then once I got to the point where I lost all my hair, I kind of just wanted to use my story to spread awareness and embrace the bald look. And I found Wigs for Kids online, came across the mission, and loved every aspect of it. So I wanted to use my story to raise money for the organization itself.
And you've been raising a tremendous amount of awareness, but also of dollars and cents, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But you are incredible. I mean, you've taken a lemon and making lemonade out of it because, Wigs for Kids, we do over 65% alopecia patients that we provide for each year. And then every year after that until they hit the age out. And, it's so important because I think that you've gone through some experience. Why don't you share with us just what it was like to be someone losing your hair, going through that process of the middle school, high school, because you had some loss, you said it during the time period, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? And what was it like with your friends? Was it embarrassing? Did you have friends that gathered around you? What was the story about that time period in your life?
Yeah, so throughout middle school and high school, as I said, I only experienced mild hair loss. So it was only a few patches here and there. And I was blessed with a full head of hair. So it was easy to hide and cover. And I was also blessed that the medication and topical steroids that I used always grew back. I always made it grew back within 8 weeks, I would say.
Wow.
It was an emotional roller coaster because there were definitely times where I could sense that some patches were getting bigger. And then there was like, some thoughts going through my head like, oh, is this going to be the spark that it's not going to grow back? Am I going to start losing it all? But fortunately, I never really had to experience that in high school or my early years here in college. But then recently, yeah, as the story kind of flipped and it didn't grow back, it was, yeah, the best way to describe it, it was emotional roller coaster.
Mm. It's interesting you say that for the listening audience because, losing your hair once is challenging enough, but then having it come back and then losing it like you've gone through, that's even more challenging. I've got to believe, as I've heard from so many of our kids that go through this, is that it's always on your mind. I mean, it typically until you really address as you have, either wearing a wig or being able to feel comfortable without. The reality is that it's always on your mind. Do you find that to be true too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every morning you wake up and you're putting an outfit together, and especially as a female, your hair is something that society defines as something that's feminine. So waking up, trying to put an outfit together, it's the first thing you think of for sure.
That's right. And you had some wonderful friends at college. I heard that they kind of put together a campaign to get you your own brand new wig.
Yeah, so my soccer team actually surprised me with a GoFundMe and helped me purchase my first wig here in Chicago. So that was quite amazing, to say the least.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And soccer, let's talk about it for just a minute. What position do you play?
I'm the center defender on our team.
Whoa. That's great. Have you played all through high school and middle school and all that, all the way up?
Yeah, I've been playing since I could walk, basically.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, if you had a message to give a little girl or a little boy that is going through the situation that you've gone through, what would be encouraging words that you would find that might encourage you if somebody said it to you back then? And I'm sure there wasn't anybody maybe there to do for you, but what would you share with them right now? Kind of an advisory, older sister mentor.
Yeah. I think something that I wish I would have told myself when I was experiencing all this was to not let my differences dim my light. You can feel different, and there can be different aspects about you that look very different than the rest of society. But at the end of the day, like, you have a purpose and you have a story. So using that to spread your light and positivity would be my advice.
Wow. Did you have a mentor? Did you have a pastor, someone that really was a kind of a encourager? You sound like you got a lot of beautiful spirit inside you that's been fed pretty well.
Yeah, I would say my mom has been my rock through all of this. Just like continuously reminding me to be vulnerable and to be open about my situation. Because again, like if you hold that all inside, one, it's not going to help you, but also it's not going to help other people. So I would say my mom has been such a great mentor through this whole emotional roller coaster for me.
Shouts out to moms like your mom, because that's what I hear so often. It's so special. And, you know, when you do have community around you and you have family around you, it really makes a lot of difference. I'm sure you're, just because you said this, the soccer, you know, team got together and bought you a wig, you must be really woven together in a relationship with those team members.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. That is great. And now you graduate. What are you majoring in? You're at a pretty prominent school over there, besides for sports.
So I'm a psychology major, and I'm actually in a 4+1 program right now. So
Oh,
it's a BSMA program for applied social psychology. So I'll be graduating in 2 years with my bachelor in psych and then a master's in applied social psychology.
wow. There's a wonderful spokesperson that we work with, is a psychologist that specializes in trichotillomania, which is where people twist their hair and scalp themselves sometimes completely,
Mhm.
and leaving a traumatized follicle a lot of times where they can't, you know, get their hair back. And it's a compulsive disorder, but she has broken through some of the incredible barriers. I'd love to put you two in contact with each other,
Yeah,
just to kind of dialogue.
yeah,
He just zoomed in on the specialty, and I've interviewed her 4 or 5 times, and it's been wonderful because she really gets it and you can relate to that. They really get it. And being a psychologist, you're going to help a lot of people. Whether it's hair replacement, hair loss, whatever it is, you just have a heart already tenderized for, you know, being in that position. That's wonderful. That's
thank you
wonderful.
so much.
When did you know you wanted to do that?
So with my psychology degree, I'm hoping to work in some sort of advising, maybe academic advising on a university. I started out as a social work major actually, and then quickly realized that I wanted to go into maybe academic advising.
Hmm.
Um, Being in the athletic department, our academic advisors have been like super influential in my time here at Loyola, and just like connecting with students, and being able to be vulnerable and open about that life happens, and that your plans can change. I think that's kind of when I realized that that's what I want to do with my psychology degree.
That's great. You know, we've been contacted from so many different organizations about mental health, and you know that's obviously on every, you know, forefront of a lot of organizations and groups, especially on the younger population over since COVID. Um, do you find that, besides the hair loss part of it, do you find that challenge in the college student a real dilemma of trying to break through all the finals, all the classes, and everything else, and social involvement? Is it really, do you see that different than maybe before it was COVID and where we're at today?
Yeah, I for sure think COVID had a huge influence on just the college experience in general. I was actually a freshman here at Loyola when COVID was at its peak, and I was isolated in a dorm for my whole freshman year, which was very challenging, mentally and emotionally. It was very hard going back, logging into Zoom, doing all my classes online, and just sitting in my dorm room all day by myself. I was very fortunate to be a part of a team where I had 28 built-in best friends right away when I got here to campus. But I am aware that that's not the story for most college students. So I definitely see a mental health dilemma happening not only in our athletic departments throughout the country, but also just at universities. I mean, there's so many things and pressures that society puts on us as kids, young adults. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely a stigma still attached to it and a lot of challenges still facing that world.
You know, one of the, and you would know this from your studies, one of the greatest ways to overcome the difficulties of mental emotion, depression, anxiety which is so, it sounds so simple, is the kindness effort, the do for others, to help others, to really extend yourself from yourself where you're really hurting or feeling, withdrawn or depressed or whatever it might be. And you did that with regards to the fundraising. Tell us about how you've worked this fundraising into your soccer and into your alopecia awareness and college, in between all your college classes. That's, I mean, when I hear what you did, it's like, I almost had to stand up in the meeting and cheer when they introduced me to you on your storyline. I thought, come on, a college student is always jam-packed with everything possible, and now an athlete. So how did you become the person you are right now in regards to fundraising and preparing more people with the awareness of alopecia?
Yeah, I mean, I think right before I shaved my head, I kind of had to like step away from everything and really do a self scan of myself and be like, okay, this really is an unfortunate situation. I want my hair back. I want all these things. But at the end of the day, I cannot let my situation influence who I am as a person or change me as a person. So I think after stepping back and just kind of realizing that, I'm not the only one that's going through similar like these situations. I was able to kind of come to peace through it and decide like, okay, how can I use this to help other people? I was presented with a GoFundMe, which was again so amazing. I was so fortunate, and I wanted to be able to do that for someone else who is not as fortunate for that financial piece. So I was doing some research online about different wig companies as I was going through my search for a wig, and came across Wigs for Kids. And yeah, again, just read the mission statement, explored the website, and then just fell in love with everything right away. So I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to post about my hair loss, spread alopecia awareness, and then also fundraise for other children who are going through similar experiences. So I started a Venmo. I think it was like Alaina Abel Wigs for Kids or something like that, and was blown away by the support. I have a really tight-knit group home in Green Bay. I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin. My community back home is super supportive. So a lot of those donations came from there. But then in the athletic world, I mean, we face so many different teams, we see so many different people. So I think being a student athlete definitely promoted that as well. So I was very, very blown away at all the donations that I received.
Well, it's nice to use that leverage of being an athlete, being at a college that is, recognized as you have, to be able to leverage that for others. I just send you out my blessings as well. And just in closing, just listening to you, you must have some kind of spiritual or faith life, because you just don't pop up out of the bed one morning and have the kind of feelings and emotions. And I can see it in your face, the sensitivity that you have. Do you have something that drives you from within?
Yeah, I do identify as a Christian, and I would say that through all of this, I trusted God's plan, even though I knew it wasn't what I wanted for myself. But at the end of the day, He knows what's best, and He has like so many great things in store for me. And I think that's kind of coming full circle now. Like we have our alopecia awareness game tomorrow. So I think it's starting to come full circle, and realizing why this had to happen and knowing that He has so much in store for me.
Wow. There's a great new book out that you may enjoy. The head of the Maverick basketball teams, the first Black woman in that position, fought cancer, strong Christian woman. Her story is, very similar to yours. You just didn't let it hold you down, and you faced those things. You probably had a lot of tears, but she talks how strongly her faith helped her go through this process, and how she believed that God was going to work all things together for the good. And I really believe in yours as well, but also that having the ability to have this, but to turn it for the good, what man meant for bad, God turns for good, often. And that relationship is really where you're at. You're taking something that many people could be crushed by and are, and you're taking it and really, you're getting on top of that platform and just giving it your best for God. So I just appreciate you, and I appreciate your walk.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, we'll be talking soon. We want to do more of excitement. I was trying to get a flight and fly up to watch your game coming up. I tried to put everything together to make it work. It didn't, but I'm going to see one of your games. I told them that's one of my goals, to see you in a game. So we'll keep you in touch and let you know when I'll be in the stands with my Wigs For Kids t-shirt.
That would be amazing. Yes.
All right. Well, you take care. I just love you. I just thank you. And you're in our prayers every day.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.